Walking away from a well-paid job for a career in property developing can be a risky business, but doing it before you found a property to develop could be financial suicide. In July 2003, Mark Standing and Sharon Lennon did exactly that. And it was a roller coaster ride.
There's only one person who looks like a fool here, mate, and it's you. I'm sorry, it is you.
The question is, 18 months on, have they learnt from their mistakes?
We got through 8 builders before we found anyone to do it.
This week I'm in Winchmore Hill, North London, to meet first-time developers Sharon Lennon and Mark Standing. After years designing shop and bar interiors, Mark and Sharon hope their eye for detailed design will help them make money developing property.
The reason we gave up our jobs was basic quality of life up against sort of what we wanted to do. We wanted to do our own designs and be in control of our own time. The jobs we were in were very long hours, a lot of travelling, and just the pace, it never seemed to sort of give up really.
Mark and Sharon have taken out a large business loan to pay for creating a fantastic modern family home from this tired Edwardian house. Did you spend a long time looking for a house like this?
A reasonable amount of time, yeah. We didn't start our little business till the end of last year, but we had been looking for properties before that time.
Since about May, I
So
think.
this is probably about the 3rd or 4th we'd had a look at. The others just didn't really stack up.
Sharon gave up full-time work a year before they finally managed to buy their first property, and Mark 6 months later. But now they've got it, Mark and Sharon want this place modernised and back on the market in 3 months. And it's a massive job. It needs complete redecoration, replacing the central heating, the bathroom and shower room, building a large extension onto the back to make the kitchen bigger, and sorting out the back garden. So how much did you buy this house for?
$375.
And how much are you planning on spending doing it up?
We're planning on spending around about 40, between 40 and 45. Obviously, the nearer to 40 we can keep it, the more profit we make.
And what do you hope to sell it for?
We hope to sell it for about 500,000.
Which would give them a fantastic return for a first business venture. Mark and Sharon bought the house for £375,000. Their budget is £40,600. They intend to sell the house for £500,000, which would earn them about £85,000 before legal fees and tax. How much are other houses around this area of this sort of size selling at the moment for?
You probably know slightly more.
485, 475. We've got it's a 5-bedroom house at the moment, so there's quite a few 3 bedrooms around and 4 bedrooms and 5. So we're looking to go sort of push it up towards the 500 mark. That's our aim.
So what makes you think that you're going to get £15,000 more?
Because it'll be the best house in this street by quite a large margin. People in this country now, their expectations are getting higher and higher from the hotels they go to, the bars, the shops, everything. So we're going to deliver as much as we can of their kind of design dream.
Mark and Sharon have certainly got their work cut out. The house has hardly been touched in over 35 years and needs total modernisation. It's a large 5-bedroom property set over 2 floors. Downstairs there are 2 big reception rooms. But at the back it's a bit of a mishmash of small, outdated rooms. There's a tiny, basic kitchen with a pantry, a dining area, an outside loo and an outside shower. Upstairs, at the back of the house, there are 2 small bedrooms, together with a bathroom and a separate loo. At the front, there's 3 more bedrooms, 2 really good-sized and 1 smaller double. But Mark and Sharon are convinced they can improve the layout. They want to move the bathroom from the back of the property to the front. That means, though, there'll still only be 1 bathroom in this top-spec 5-bedroom house. If this is the master bedroom, then which bathroom will it use? The only bathroom?
The only bathroom, yeah.
Because with a house of this size and this stature, and it's a grand big house, it really would benefit having an ensuite bathroom for the master bedroom, and that's really what adds a lot of value
Yeah.
to a house like this.
We've tried very, very hard to try and squeeze an ensuite bathroom in, and it just doesn't go, basically. We can't. So we thought it'd be better to have one big, glamorous, sexy bathroom than have an ensuite which feels kind of mean and pinched and a bit squished in.
I think this is a mistake. Mark and Sharon could easily fit in an ensuite without spoiling the main room. So this is the bedroom behind that master bedroom at the front. Now I know that you were saying that you can only fit one bathroom in. I wonder whether you couldn't knock a doorway through here and have a shower room, ensuite shower room here for the master bedroom. And you put a wall here. It's actually a really good size, perfectly good size double bedroom.
So you're saying access from the room at the front uses this space here?
I'm happy to have another look at it. I'm sceptical as to whether we'll end up with the room that we end up with, you know, after we've done it is going to, you know,
Be big enough
and be worth the sacrifice.
At the back, they're knocking the corridor, the old bathroom, the loo, and the back bedroom together to make one good-sized room. But it's going to be a very odd shape.
Until we actually sort of strip it all out, we're still not quite sure how we'll plan it, because we've got windows at lots of different levels in this room, but it's a south-facing garden, and we just thought if you come in, you've got a nice big bright room at the back of the house, you know, maybe it's the kids' bedroom or something, so that's really the plan.
Yeah,
so
it's
you
a
haven't
proper,
got a
proper double bedroom rather
pokey
than...
space.
I actually think you'll find that the space here with the bathroom and this loo, once you've knocked the walls down, it's not actually going to be that much smaller a room than the bathroom at the front of the house. And if you had this as a bathroom, you'd end up with 3 bedrooms there, one with an ensuite, 2 little children's bedrooms here and a family bathroom, and a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom house has got to be worth more money than a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom house.
We tried very, very hard to make the bathroom work at this end of the house. Obviously, with all the plumbing here with the existing bathroom, it seemed like the logical thing to do. But we didn't think we could make it work.
Property developing is about minimum investment for maximum return. And I think Mark and Sharon are doing a lot of work here that isn't necessary and will cost them money. Before knocking rooms together like this, you need to be really clear what you're going to gain. Mark and Sharon will create an odd-shaped room with windows at different heights, and it's going to take all their design skills to make it work. For Mark and Sharon to sell this property and get the maximum amount, it's essential they get the layout upstairs and downstairs absolutely right. At the moment, downstairs, there are 2 big reception rooms. The front one needs decoration, but not much else. At the back, they've got fantastic design plans, which will make this property stand out. Mark and Sharon are knocking through from the 2nd reception room into the kitchen, and it doesn't stop there. The old kitchen, pantry, downstairs loo, shower and dining area are all going. They're building a large extension, and this entire area will house the spectacular new kitchen diner. They're also planning a downstairs loo, which is a really good selling point in a big family house like this.
We're putting some steels in as well, so we don't have a column in the space. Keep it very open plan so they can put their furniture wherever they want.
No, I'd certainly agree. I think if you're going to open it, you're going to knock through the shower and the out there and have this fantastic extension you want to properly knock through.
Yeah.
But all these plans will come at a price. They intend to spend £10,600 on all the building works, including the plastering. Plumbing costs will total £7,500, which includes labour, a new central heating system and a new bathroom suite. They've allocated £4,500 for the decorating, £4,500 for the new wood floors and carpeting. On top of this, they've budgeted £5,000 for the electrics and lighting, £1,500 for tiling the splashbacks and floors, £1,000 for the doors and other sundries, £500 for repairing the roof, £500 for the garden, and £5,000 for fitting the new kitchen. This brings their total budget to £40,600, which I don't think is enough. How much of the work are you planning on doing yourselves here?
We're not planning on doing very much at all of actual kind of physical work. I mean, I'd like to get involved in some bits and pieces, but I want to kind of pick and choose what I do. So at the moment, all of the work elements are covered by some sort of contractor or another.
So your budget of 40,000 is to build this extension to the rear,
Yeah.
and to rewire and replumb the whole house.
Yeah.
New kitchens, new bathrooms, new flooring, new carpets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do none of the work yourself.
That's right.
Is that realistic, £40,000?
Well, all the costs tell us it is realistic.
I hope so, because there's a lot to do here. And though Mark and Sharon aren't planning on doing the building work themselves, they waste no time stripping out and getting the property ready. But it's not long before their first business venture runs into trouble.
This is a serious project, and I'm not happy, and I'm seriously thinking about what I'm going to do about it.
In July 2003, Mark Standing and Sharon Lennon bought this very tired property in North London, intending to gut it and modernise it in just 12 weeks. They've given up their full-time design jobs, set up their own development company, invested £40,000 of their savings and borrowed £380,000 to make it happen.
We want to use this first property in Winchmore Hill as a yardstick for kind of future projects. So we're quite sort of cautious to actually get this one under our belt and see how it works, see the timing of it, see how much it costs, how long it takes, and then go from there.
Mark and Sharon's budget is just over £40,000 to renovate the entire property, but I don't think this will pay for everything they've got planned. As well as the decorating, plumbing, heating and flooring, they're intending to create a massive new kitchen by knocking together the old kitchen, pantry, loo, shower, dining room and building an extension. But all this doesn't leave much cash for anything else. How much is your garden budget? Have you got a lot of money to spend on it?
We've only basically put about 500 quid into the budget just to tidy it up, really.
So 500 quid for a £500,000 house in a garden this size? The main reason someone's going to buy this house is because it's a big family house with a big garden, and it's a major feature, and I think that's an amazingly small amount of money to spend.
To be honest, if once we've mown the lawn and we've tried sort of the basic tidy up, if we don't think it's sufficient, and we think if we spend another £1,000, £1,500, and as long as we think we'll get it back on the sale price, then we'll do it.
I think Mark and Sharon are making a mistake. When property developing, it's essential not to leave the garden as an afterthought, because getting it right can add value and help you sell.
We thought very sort of long and hard about a lot of Sarah's advice. Some of it I think is good. The ensuite was something which we'd obviously thought about before ourselves, but really couldn't figure out a way of getting it in. But we're still discussing it, really.
En-suites can add value and will make a big difference in making your property stand out, and many people do expect them. I'd recommend putting one in if you've got the room, especially in a top-end property like Mark and Sharon's. En-suites don't have to be big, but the smaller they are, the cleverer you will need to be with a space. Using mirrors, light colours and simple unfussy finishes will make a small room feel bigger. Using different flooring from the main room helps define the space. One way to keep the master bedroom's size is to build the en-suite in the room next door. Mark and Sharon could easily do this. They'd keep the look and still fit the en-suite in. It's week 2 of Mark and Sharon's development, but the pressure is on to get as much preparation done as possible.
It's a bit of a busy week this week because we're going on holiday at the end of the week. It was planned since last year. It's actually Mark's 40th.
Although Mark's project managing this development, one of the most important elements of this build, the kitchen extension, will happen while he's away. That includes fitting the huge steel beams to take the weight of the entire back wall, which he's leaving in the hands of Ken, the builder.
By the time you come back, all the steelwork should be in.
Fantastic.
And hopefully I'll be a
It's
fan.
the most exciting bit. I'm really upset I'm missing it, to be honest.
Getting this part of the job right is absolutely crucial, because when the beams are fitted, the entire back wall of the house has to be supported.
Well, it all seems to be going very well so far. There's no nicer sight than seeing lots of men shoveling lots of muck. If the whole project goes as well as this, we'll be very happy.
It's now the end of week 2 and Mark and Sharon are leaving tomorrow morning for their 2-week holiday in Spain.
Ordinarily, it would be quite a nerve-wracking experience leaving a job unattended, but we have a client of ours who we're doing a kind of bar restaurant for, who is local and has agreed to come in and kind of babysit the job while we're away. His name is Sot, and he's got vastly more experience in building work than we have. I'm going to be calling the phone to Ken every day, making sure you're not changing steelwork designs or roof finishes.
I promise you it won't cost you any extra.
Look after it for us.
Don't
Thanks
worry.
a lot. Have a good holiday.
Have a lovely time.
Thanks. See you soon.
See you later.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
But the very next day, Sot visits the site to take charge and immediately starts trying to change Mark's carefully laid plans.
We were discussing the roof, and Sot just mentioned how nice it may be to see a sloping roof rather than a flat roof carrying through.
Does Mark know what height it is at the moment?
Well, he wants to keep this ceiling running through, so...
Brickwork on the
The
outside.
instructions from Mark at the moment is that he would like to see it run through level. I suppose either one would be just as good, but at the moment I'm sticking to the instructions to run the ceiling through at the same level as the existing kitchen ceiling.
Have you got all your stills for this now?
Coming Thursday.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's now week 3 of the development and the steels for the extension have arrived. In order to take the weight of the back wall, Ken needs to use a deeper steel beam than originally planned, and it can't be hidden between the ceiling of the kitchen and the floor of the room above. So it either needs to stick up through the bedroom floor or down into the kitchen ceiling below. With Mark's obsession for detail, Ken knows he has to get everything exactly right. And he's pretty sure that Mark won't want it hanging down in the new kitchen ceiling.
This is Mark and Sharon's holiday report.
Put it down.
Hi Sharon, it's Sot. Just rang Mark and he's answering the phone. You're not answering yours, so you must be having a good time. Brickwork's up. The beams are going in this afternoon. I'll talk to you later.
Hopefully everyone's working very hard indeed. There'll be trouble if we get back and find that they haven't been.
Right, down, lads. That's perfect.
So cheers.
It's my last day looking after Mark and Sharon's project. They're back tomorrow. I hope they're going to be very, very pleased. All the steel work has been done on the extension. The ceiling's nice and level. That looks very, very good. I think Ken's took his time and done a good job on it. It's looking very good, very good.
Next day, Mark and Sharon are back from holiday, ready to check out the development.
Not a bad size room, is it?
Yeah. Odd shape, but
Yeah?
not bad size.
Oh, we knew that.
Suppose I expected it to be wider here.
Where's I expected it to be? Seen a bit of an issue with the level of the steel there. What's that all about then? That's ridiculous. Be nice if someone told us about that, wouldn't it?
How comes it's ended up higher then?
That's going to be a big problem, Sharon.
We'll just have to get round it, won't we?
Well, Ken will have to get around it. That's stupid, isn't it?
The steel beam sticks up about 6 inches above the height of the floor, which means there'll be a step in part of the room.
I'm not
Sorry,
happy.
Mark.
Well, no, apologies aren't accepted.
Well, I can only work to what information I've been told to work to. The instructions were to run a level ceiling through this kitchen.
You have a duty of care to me, I'm your client, to say the consultants have got the levels wrong. I know I told you could have a level ceiling, but you can't. We've got to drop the steel down. And I'm going, well, of course we drop the steel down, because who wants to change the level on the first floor? Don't just put it in and wait till I get back. What sort of way is that to behave?
I wasn't being irresponsible.
You were being irresponsible,
I was
Ken.
putting it into the information I had at the time and the instructions received.
But this is not, I'm not enjoying this
Oh,
at
no,
all,
no, I'm not.
because it's our first project and it's a lash up.
Well, I thought
That is a lash up.
I thought I was doing correct with the information.
Well, so
I
you
had.
really genuinely thought,
did.
rather than have a step in the ceiling, that you'd have a change of floor level? You thought that was a good
Well,
idea,
I
did
just thought
you?
it-
You made that value judgment,
I
did
just thought
you?
there's such a big bedroom up there that can be designed out.
Oh, Ken, give us a break, mate.
For Mark, the raised floor is a major problem. and although he wasn't on site to ask, he's clear whose fault it is.
There's only one person who looks like a fool here, mate, and it's you. I'm sorry, it is you.
Well, I don't believe that.
Now, I
true.
really
don't
thought this
believe
was the
that's
start of a good relationship between you and I, but how wrong I was.
Well, absolutely, I'm wrong. I'm so wrong with you as well, because I thought you was a fairer man than that. Like,
What,
you know?
what do you mean, fair man? All I'm asking for is a phone call. I spoke to you 3 times when I was on holiday.
Yeah, but
why didn't you tell me?
If I thought it was a problem, I would have rang you.
You don't think that's a problem?
I didn't think it was a
30
problem.
years experience of a builder, and you don't think that's a problem, having a level change in the bedroom?
I'm sorry.
Well, there's no point in being sorry.
But I can only work with the information I'm given. Shall we look upstairs?
All right, then.
If the bed's going to go in this sort of area, why can't there
What
be
if this could be a kid's room?
Why can't there be a...
What if this was a kid's room and they want to have the bed along this wall?
Well, why not make this a box then for the toys? So they can put...
Ken, I'm not even...
No,
I'm hearing the words, but I'm not believing
I'm
them.
only throwing things around it. No,
Well, we'll be the ones that have the ideas. You build the project for us, yeah? We need a flat floor in here, and that's all there is to it.
I tried to think ahead and do what I thought I was told to do, based on the drawings, etc. But there you are. That's life for you. You know, one's got to move on. So we get over the problem, and hopefully we'll be amicable at the end of the day.
If he thinks he's getting another penny until we're happy that it's back on course, he's very mistaken. We have to accept, Sharon, that we might have to get him off this job.
Throwing the builder off-site partway through a development is a massive step to take, and I wouldn't recommend it unless absolutely necessary. Good builders are normally busy builders, so you may have to wait months to find someone to take over.
How are you? How's it going? How's your holiday? Very down legs.
And they'll usually charge you a premium to take over a half-finished job.
Sometimes when things go wrong on site, which they always do, and if there's any possible way you can work with it rather than have to redo it, it's always a better option.
If I really thought we could work with a change in floor level in a small bedroom like this, then we would work with it.
There are other options, raising the level of the floor throughout or building a raised platform to hide the beam. But they cause other problems and none satisfy Mark's designer eye, which means the beam will have to be lowered even though doing this again means double the chance of a serious problem with the back wall. 5 weeks into the project and costs are beginning to rise. The major building work was budgeted at £10,600, but is actually costing another £4,000. And Sharon and Mark have realised that £500 for the garden simply won't be enough.
So I'm just marking up the lighting drawing, see if we can save a few quid on light fittings to help pay for our garden transformation. I reckon I've probably knocked out about 14 to 15 light fittings, and we knocked out a few socket outlets as well this morning, which will be a help as well. We reckon we've probably saved a good sort of 300 quid maybe. Buy some turf.
In fact, getting this garden right will cost them at least 10 times that extra amount. But if they don't get everything spot on, smashing the ceiling price will be very difficult. Even with everything perfect, it won't be easy. 7 weeks into their development, the end of the major building work is now in sight, and Mark and Sharon are just about on schedule. But another problem with another tradesman threatens to put a stop to that.
In the end, we had to basically stick his stuff out in the street and say, right, you're off the job, come and collect it.
2 years ago, Mark Standing and Sharon Lennon gave up full-time, highly paid jobs designing shops and bars to turn this rundown property in Winchmore Hill, North London, into a £500,000 home. But 7 weeks into the development, costs are rising, the relationship with their builder is strained, and the huge steel beam for the extension is in the wrong place.
Having now spoken to Ken about the steelwork issue, it's pretty calmly and in a friendly manner. We're literally just going to drop the steelwork down.
You could have levelled the floor out, but it's just why? Do you know what I mean? Why create problems upstairs? You know, it's no big deal having a bulkhead downstairs.
No, absolutely not.
Today we're starting to lower the steels as required by our client. It will probably take about 2 to 3 days to complete from start to finish, you know, which basically what I estimated it once I found out the problem, you know. My personal opinion, and it is only my personal opinion, nothing else to do with it, I would prefer to send a nice flat ceiling through the kitchen, and then you don't really distinguish an extension. But whatever the client wants, you know, obviously he gets. Hopefully we've achieved all his desires. So there you are, job done.
Mark is the project manager on this job, and going away on holiday at the most crucial time has undoubtedly caused problems. If he'd been here, there's no way the beam would have gone in wrong. Luckily for him, Ken's agreed to cover all the costs, though lowering the beam is a major hassle they all could have done without. 3 days and 6 inches later, hopefully the problem's been resolved.
Yeah, that's better, isn't it?
Yeah, that's loads better, isn't it? Yeah, we're very happy with that. That makes the room much more flexible again. I mean, it's of all the rooms in the house, it was, you know, by far and away the kind of most awkward shaped anyway.
Lots of choice, really.
Yeah, very happy with that.
Yep.
It's now week 9 of the development, and although the major building work's been completed on schedule, it's not on budget. With costs rising, Mark and Sharon are doing exactly the right thing and trying to find ways of making savings.
What areas have you cut back on your costs on?
We've done things like reduce the number of light fittings that we'd originally costed in. We've reduced the number of socket outlets with the electricians. We're sanding the 2 floors in the 2 reception rooms, which is quite a big saving because we'd originally had in the budget to put a timber floor down in there.
So do you think that not having those extra bits and pieces in the house, which are going to give it that very luxurious feel, will affect the end value of the property and the end feel of it?
If the place is properly lit, it's properly lit. You don't go, ooh, they've skimped on a
Yeah,
few
wouldn't
light
it be benefit
fittings.
to put 3 more light fittings in? But you know, we take your point entirely, but
I think we've been quite careful about the things, you know, that we have cut back on.
Mark and Sharon are hoping their eye for detail and design will sell this property, but I'm not convinced all their ideas are right.
And what about the layout? How many units are you planning on having?
I don't know.
It's
We
sort
haven't
of a
counted them up.
long L shape, isn't it?
Yeah,
And then with
basically
the
we're
island
trying
unit.
to get maybe some long, sort of quite wide draw units to do away with the kind of, you know, the regimented 600 modules. We're also thinking about having an island unit.
No! Yes! Why are you going to have an island unit? Because the thing about island units is that it lessens your flexibility. So if somebody did want to have a great big party and put a table right the way down the kitchen, they couldn't because they can't move the island unit.
Should we really be designing a kitchen for the 1 day or 2 days a year where you want to clear everything out and have a sort of 20-foot table? I mean, we're both big believers in the island unit, in the kitchen environment that we've got at Fernley Road, with the storage, and all the pluses kind of outweigh the minuses. So I think in this instance we're going to have to agree to disagree.
10 weeks in and the development is really taking shape. Downstairs, the 2 reception rooms are all but finished and the kitchen is due to go in. But there's a major hitch.
The kitchen people showed up, I think it was the day before yesterday, and basically said that a lot of the pipework that had been in for weeks and weeks was in the wrong place or too far out or basically not correct.
Not enough of it either.
Not enough of it. So we've had to call out an emergency plumber and just get the kitchen back on track.
Project managing the job means making sure that everything gets done properly at the right time. Mark and Sharon should have checked this weeks ago, but now they've got to get this done quickly and at more cost. But their problems don't stop there. The tiler started laying the kitchen floor, but he hasn't been seen in over a week.
I managed to speak to him again this morning. He's going to come back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m, he promises me faithfully, to finish off at least the kitchen, and then we'll take a view as to whether we trust him sufficiently to complete the project.
8 a.m. comes and goes, with no sign of the tiler.
In the end, we had to basically stick his stuff out in the street and say, right, you're off the job, come and collect it.
2 weeks behind schedule, and with the new kitchen due tomorrow, Mark finds another tiler who costs an extra £400, but at least the job's done to Mark's satisfaction and ready for the kitchen fitters the following day. They're convinced the kitchen will sell this property, and it has to be absolutely right. And with Sharon away again, it's down to Mark to make sure it happens.
Well, that was Mark on the phone. He's supposed to be here this morning to oversee basically what I'm doing and what the kitchen fitters are doing and that, and he's been taken ill, he's gone to hospital. So he says he'll see us later on, but we shall see.
Mark's okay, but still has to wait to be released. And that means the kitchen fitters are on their own.
I don't know what unit's going to the left of that recess.
Maybe it's just as well Mark's not here.
They've sent the wrong legs in. The trouble is that cable really needs to be back here, doesn't it? Back here somewhere. Yeah. Oh dear. There's always something in there. We need a minimum gap of 1200. At the moment we've only got sort of 1180. So I really need to gain 22 mil minimum. No, there's no one here today.
7 hours later, the kitchen's just about in and Mark's back from hospital. But is the kitchen up to his high standards?
Looks fantastic. Looks absolutely fantastic. Very pleased indeed. Hello, Mother.
With the kitchen in, it's time for the final push. Mark and Sharon want to catch up the lost time and so knuckle down to some hard graft. After 15 weeks hard slog, the house is finished. They were hoping to finish in 12, but pretty close to schedule, the work's finally done. And this run-down 5-bedroom property has become a stylish 4-bedroomed modern home.
It's been stressful, knackering, but we loved it.
We're really proud of what we've done. I think finally when you see it all together, you know, I think we're really pleased. We sat in here last night and it felt like somewhere you could, you know, stick the kettle on and live.
Upstairs, the bedrooms at the front of the house are light, airy and beautifully presented. Mark and Sharon's eye for design does make this house feel special. But I think they should have fitted an ensuite. In a big, expensive family house, it will be a real selling feature. Moving the bathroom to the front of the house did cost Mark and Sharon more money than leaving it where it was. But the new look is superb. The 2 basins, large shower and expensive fittings give this room a luxury feel. Mark and Sharon knocked the loo, old bathroom and one of the smaller back bedrooms together into one bigger bedroom. They lost a room in doing so and created a difficult-shaped space. It isn't the layout I'd have chosen because I don't think it maximises the potential of the space, but the room they have got looks good.
This was the room which looked like it was going to be the worst room in the house on the plan. It was a funny shape, it was an amalgamation of 2 or 3 rooms into one. But actually, now it's done and finished, it's probably the room that I like the most.
Funnily enough, I thought this was going to be quite awkward as well, mainly because of the 3 different shaped windows. But if you put different things underneath, it actually balances it out. If this was a completely empty room, it probably still would look slightly awkward. Because you've got the radiator under one and the chest of drawers under another and nothing under the other, it actually balances each of the windows.
One of the difficulties in old houses is managing to mix old and new. But in the main reception rooms, Sharon and Mark seem to have pulled it off. But for my money, this development's biggest success is at the back of the house. Sharon and Mark demolished the mishmash of small rooms and built on a new extension to create this spectacular 24-foot kitchen.
Gosh, this is lovely in here. And yeah, I see you've got an island unit in here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
we
We
stuck
went
with
against
that.
your advice.
It does look great. I mean, there's no question this kitchen is a really major success. Personally, I don't like island units, but then I'm not going to buy it, so. One of the things that people sometimes don't do, which is such a shame, is not use their sight lines. And here you've maximised the sight lines. So from the front door, you can just about see right to the back of the garden.
Outside, they've created a family garden with plenty of space for entertaining and playing, though it cost 8 times more than they'd allocated in their budget.
This is a beautifully finished house, and it's beautifully designed, and it is flexible, so you do tick all those boxes.
Blimey.
But all this beauty comes at a price. Mark and Sharon did save £200 on the electrics, £1,200 on their plumbing, and £800 on the flooring by sanding the original floorboards. But everything else went up. Building works went from £10,600 to £14,550. Their decoration budget rose from £4,500 to £5,500. Problems with tiling pushed the cost from £1,500 to £1,900. The roof and sundry items went from £1,000 to £1,800. The kitchen cost £6,800, and the garden leapt from £500 to a massive £4,000. Add £6,000 in interest on the loan, legal fees and stamp duty, which come to about £21,000, and their final budget is £76,350.
To be honest with you, we're not that unhappy. We spent a lot more on the garden, which we hadn't planned in originally. There was a total error on my part at the beginning that I just was going to bung in a few £100 to tidy it up, mow the lawn. Sharon wanted to spend money. Sarah obviously advised us to spend money in the garden, and would always now, in future, make sure that we've got plenty of money in the budget for garden, front and rear.
If Mark and Sharon sell for £500,000, that will make them a before-tax profit of just over £48,500. A good return, but only half of what they expected. For Mark and Sharon to get their £85,000 profit, they need to sell the house for at least £535,000.
There is only one bathroom. They could have benefited with maybe putting an ensuite in this room.
Once they had refurbished their first development in October 2003, Mark and Sharon needed £535,000 to make their hoped-for profit. But what did the estate agents feel was a realistic valuation for this property?
Wow, this is just a great family room.
Downstairs toilet, absolutely invaluable for families.
I feel that it should be placed on the market for £499,999.
I value this property in the region of £495,000.
I would be prepared to put this property on the market for £525,000.
Are you pleased with those valuations?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we were aiming for that. You know, that's basically where we were aiming the whole time. I mean, the 525 is, you know, is great if we can get that.
Now all they have to do is find someone prepared to pay that much money.
Oh, this is nice and bright, isn't it? Lovely. The bathroom's a nice size, but it's just not enough for the 4 of us. We definitely need an ensuite.
They've done a fantastic job and it's a really nice house.
Great. I think it would be well worth a second viewing, don't you?
Would you do another development? Has this fired your imagination, or has it put you off?
No, not at all. It hasn't put us off at all. It's been a very, very steep learning curve.
There's no doubt that Mark and Sharon took a big risk with their first development, giving up their jobs before they had a property to develop and having to break the ceiling price on the road just to make a profit.
But the gamble paid off, and in October 2003, Mark and Sharon sold their first development for their full asking price of £535,000. The quick sale gave them the confidence and the cash flow to commit to property number 2, which they'd already spotted a few roads away in an even smarter bit of Winchmore Hill.
We hadn't finished Fernley. We saw this and we were like, we have to have this. I mean, it was instant. It was like, how do we get this?
Mark and Sharon certainly have given themselves a challenge. The property is completely unmodernised. Although for most inexperienced developers, a property like this would be terrifying, Mark and Sharon have already proved their eye for design and style, and if they can get it right again, they'll make some serious money on this development.
The potential is unbelievable. From the front it looks like a little 2 up, 2 down, and that's what we thought it was when we first came here. But what it is effectively 2 houses, one behind the other, with a courtyard that links the two.
Mark and Sharon's plan is to keep the Victorian facade, but internally the main house and outbuildings will be completely gutted and rebuilt into one jaw-dropping contemporary space. The courtyard will become a double-height atrium with a glass roof. The ground floor will be extended into the back garden to create over 1,000 square feet of open-plan living space. Upstairs, they're creating 3 bedrooms, 2 en-suites and a family bathroom.
You walk in the door and it's like Alice in Wonderland. It's the last thing you're expecting.
But creating Mark and Sharon's look won't come cheap. They bought the house for £375,000. The budget is £200,000, and if they get their £750,000 sale price, they'll walk away with a £175,000 gross profit, minus the fees. But that does mean selling for £300,000 more than the average 3-bedroom house in the area, so it's going to have to be good. But 5 months after buying it, work hasn't even started. Mark and Sharon can't find a builder brave enough to take on such a massive project.
Well, I'll ring that other crowd and see if we've got a price.
In the end, the delay cost them £8,000 in extra mortgage payments, but eventually in June 2004, work really gets going, using many of the tradesmen they'd found on their first development.
And basically all of the people that we got on well with have come straight into this project, and you've got that relationship, and it makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
It does, because they know what your standards are, they know what your expectations are. You're not starting from scratch again every time. They know you won't accept that or you will accept that, and it just makes it easier for everyone.
So 11 and 2 metres then, yeah? That's perfect.
After 11 months of very hard work, this collection of near-derelict buildings has been transformed. In April 2005, I went to check it out, just as Mark and Sharon were putting in the finishing touches.
Hi, fine, how are you? Oh, this is amazing. You would never believe that all this is behind that little tiny frontage.
This is no ordinary development. The old courtyard has become a stunning double-height glass atrium which floods the house with natural light. The original living room has been knocked through to create over 1,000 square feet of open-plan living space over the whole ground floor.
Gosh, a gorgeous kitchen. It is really spectacular. How much did it cost?
It was just around 12 grand, just over 12 grand.
Gosh, so a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of money, but there's an awful lot of kitchen for it. It's a big kitchen.
I mean, it is beautiful. And if you're going to go for this sort of finish, you need to put this kind of kitchen in to even begin to think about getting the sort of level you need to get to for return.
On their previous development, it was the kitchen that really stole the show. And once again, they've managed to pull off something spectacular. And if you have to have an island unit, this is the amount of space you need to carry it off. The layout of the whole ground floor is beautifully judged. But what really makes this place stand out is Mark and Sharon's attention to detail. Everything about this house is bespoke, from the oak and steel staircase to the one-off sofa and all the bedroom furniture.
Whose baby is this project?
It's not my baby, it's our baby.
It's your baby.
It's our baby.
It's your baby, isn't it?
There's been no expense spared in creating Mark's baby. The staircase, balustrade and glass walkway alone cost a cool £25,000. Leading off the walkway, there are 3 bedrooms, 2 en-suites and a family bathroom. The glass everywhere means all these rooms are filled with light.
So up here you've got 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Yeah.
Yep.
And did you at any point think that it might be wise to try and get a 4th bedroom?
Yes, yeah, we did, of course, yeah. We had the space to get one in, but we decided that we would just create like an open plan, study, office-y type area. And if they wanted to kind of enclose it and create a little bedroom, they could do.
Nothing really about this development is safe, but it would have been safer to try and get a 4th bedroom in terms of your resale price.
A lot of people have computers, work from home and, have a laptop. It's quite nice. If you've got such a lovely double height space, it's like, why be in the smallest box room in the house?
Now I've got an open plan study upstairs in my own home, and I thought it was a really good idea at the time, but it really drives me nuts because you're disturbed by anything that goes on in the house. You are disturbed by it. It's quite difficult to work in.
For working at home more than very occasionally, an open plan study really isn't ideal and can't be used as a 4th bedroom. But overall, the house looks fantastic, as does the garden, which Mark and Sharon have properly budgeted for this time. But the most impressive thing about this development is that they bought it in £35,000 under budget. If they can sell it at £750,000, they'll make a staggering £210,000 profit. And clearly this has got an awful lot more to offer, an awful lot more square footage than a 3-bedroom standard house. But 3-bedroom houses in this area do sell for £450,000, so this is nearly double.
But it'd be 3 bedrooms, it would be half the square footage, it would be 1 bathroom.
All my point is that you have gone out on a limb
creating
this, and it is a niche buyer and a niche market, and that is a punch. Yeah, and you, fingers crossed, might get a buyer.
We always knew it wasn't a wide market we were aiming at, but for the spec we wanted to do and the space we wanted to create, we think there's a buyer out there.
When we first started to do this, we thought we'd be doing maybe 2 or 3 a year and earning 20, 30, 40 grand on each one. But actually, that's a really tough way of doing it. And that's, we realised actually after the last one that it was actually much better to do one project and actually get more profit from the one project. Because it's as easy to do a big project as a little project. It's still bathrooms, plumbing, all the stuff that you have on a little project, you have on a big project.
Mark and Sharon are now hoping that their final sale price will be closer to £800,000. There's no doubt that Mark and Sharon's latest development is beautiful, but the risks are high, as they've now got to find someone who will buy into their vision at the premium they need. Next week, I'm back in Earl's Court to see if Martin Sutherland's still refusing to listen to good advice.
And the estate agent said to me, "I'll just give it a lick of paint and rent it out to whoever wants it."
And why didn't you do that?
I don't know.
For the opportunity to advertise your property online and save thousands of pounds, why not visit the website channel4.com/forsale. Coming up on 4, how do you cope with 6 boys whose constant fights make family life a daily struggle? Bad behaviour sorts the problem out. Next.